this evening, returning to webcams. Oh, I just about made a mess there. 1 second. Alright. Let's get everything that doesn't need to be here out of the way. That includes my mouse. Okay. So, when last we left, I'd almost gotten this webcam working. For some reason, the drivers weren't being recognized. I think that was the main problem. So let's see if I can try that one more time. And if I can't get that one working, we'll start working on the next one. Here we have the plug for it. We've already got it soldered up for power. And now we just have to isolate the positive and negative data. So I'm going to start by attaching the USB that we've got connected to the probes here and see if we can figure out. I'm going to make red the white one, and I'll take this black one and make it the green one. Now, in theory, by doing this, it should recognize what we've got there. Once, of course, after we plug it in. Where did I put it? There it is. Now, if the data connections are incorrect, we'll get an unrecognized USB device error message. I don't see such a message. So I'm going to then disconnect the data. Because we didn't get anything because I connected it to the wrong end. That's the USB line. We want to connect it here to the actual camera. That would be helpful. So let's unplug the camera so we don't cause anything. And for those wondering what we're listening to, it's the good old Steezy AF YouTube channel. Or audio channel, rather. Streaming channel. If you have a request or suggestion for listening, please let me know. Alright. And plugged in. Alright, if this is incorrect, we should have received an error message. I don't see an error message. And I also don't see... Let's add a webcam. Video capture device. Add source. I don't see a new webcam on here. Oh, wait, 1 second. Add source. I see my Elgato, I see the current Droid cam, which we're using for the table, and a Logitech, which is what you're looking at me on. Nothing new. So that did not work. Let's try this instead. I'll disconnect them. Unplug the lines. Reconnect it. Red on green this time. And black on white this time. And currently we've got green attached to red, which is then attached. Oop, Is that what we've got plugged in on the line here? It looks like we've got green attached to red and white attached to black, which is actually how we have it plugged in with the JAWS. We'll plug that in. Let's see what we get. Now, if it's incorrect, it won't recognize it, or at least the USB serial bus. USB device not recognized. The last USB device you connected to this computer malfunctioned. All right, well, let's unplug it. So the correct connection was not green to green, but green to white. So green in the cable from the USB, white in the cable from the USB. Plug it in. And what is the magic thing that Windows says? No word from Windows. Yep. Windows does not see this at all. If it does see it, it's not registering it as there's no new set address failed. What's that mean? Unknown USB device set address failed. Yeah. Let's try troubleshooting it. See what happens. Getting information about your device. Detecting problems. Is this device maybe old enough for it to not be able to get any information from it? A friend of mine actually suggested that unknown USB device set address failed as error. Alright, I can't see it. A friend of mine suggested I use a Linux distro to figure out what's going on with this. I think he's probably right. I'll need to set up a Raspberry Pi as a Linux device and to figure this one out. So we're going to start putting together a second cable for one of our other webcams, and we'll start working with that. In the meantime, let's unplug this. And then disconnect the lines. And remove the device. Yes, remove that device. Actually, let's try green to green again, just in case. White to white. I just want to double check that the reason it wasn't showing up is because I forgot to get rid of the USB device after it failed the first time. So, come on, cooperate. There we go. The red is on the green, and the black is on the white. And now we'll plug this in. We'll see what happens. It might have failed because I have an errored out device on there. Alright, so, we have multiple device descriptor failed and set address failed. Alright, let's try troubleshooting the descriptor failure. Alternately, I was looking for a driver specifically for the webcam that the laptop webcam drivers for the laptop this webcam came from, and there are drivers out there. They're just very specific to the laptop manufacturer and therefore won't work elsewhere. No, it doesn't like this. Alright, so I'm going to unplug it. Switch the lines. Get rid of this device that you can't see, but you just have to believe me. And we'll connect like so. And plug her back in. Alright. Any error messages? No error messages, but also nothing recognized. So, I mean, lack of failure isn't a success, so I think we're just going to have to move on. Try and figure out this webcam with a some sort of Linux distro. I don't. Unfortunately, I do not have anything with the Linux distro working right now. The last machine I had with a Linux distro, I actually think this screen, this webcam came out of. So, yeah, let's unplug her and start on the next webcam. I've taken the liberty to actually strip the wires off of some of these because I wasn't sure how long it would take. I've got a new set of wire strippers, which are super fun to work with and really easy to work with also. Alright, so new wires. This webcam goes in the naughty pile. And here are the two webcams that we've got. And actually, you can see my wire strippers here. These guys are great. They do 26 gauge to 36 gauge, or 0.4 to 0.12 millimeters. And what you do is you turn this little dial here so that the arrow points at the one you want to work with. So let's say I want to work with a 26 gauge wire. Where's the arrow there? Where's the arrow there? Okay, so say I want to work with a 36, a 34, a 32, a 30, a 28, or a 26 gauge wire. I would just turn this dial to the gauge that I want. And I'm working with 30s right now. I think I'm working with 28s actually. And move this slider up and down to help indicate how long I want the line to be how much of the line I want to reveal. Let's say I want, I don't know, like half an inch. Turn this up, slide it up to there, and then you take these lines, just one of them at a time, slide it in. I'm not going to do it now because I already did that one. Let me see if I have one I haven't done. Yeah, maybe I should have held off on doing a few of these. Let's do these data lines from this one. Alright, so almost invisible because of the camera quality, but let's see. I'm gonna have to do this one anyway, but alright. Oh, come on, you're so fiddly. I'm going to use this razor blade to just part the hairs, so to speak. Alright, so these are parted and unwound. myself just a little bit more to work with. Alright, so parted and unwound. Can you see that? Oh, there we go. Parted and unwound. So you then take the one that you want to strip, find the appropriate gauge on your counter, which I think is 28 here. And then slide it in, hold down, pull. Okay, so maybe it's 30. Let's turn it up to 30. Slide her in, crimp down, pull. All right, maybe it's not 30 because that just broke the line. I'll put it back down to 28. Huh. Alright, let's try this again. It was working really well before I started filming, or, you know, streaming. Yeah, that's good enough. See? Let's do it on its compatriot now. Slide it in. Squeeze it down, and apparently break the line. Frustrating. Might be trying to pull off too much at a time. This wire is very thin after all. So let me just do a little bit at a time. That's better. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so we've got the data lines exposed. I'm gonna put these loppers aside, put that over there. We don't need you just yet. Pack that up. Let's get to work on making a wire. Trusty red out. Don't need this anymore. Well, I might want to give myself just a little bit of line. Oh, I'm just going to do it this way. There we go. And then come down there. Give us some more. There. Okay. The shielding is keeping the plastic or rubber on. There we go. And I'm just going to saw away at the shielding. Grab on. Let's see if we can just pull. Nope. Okay. Ooh. Ah. Yeah, that was a bit of a metal splinter. Before I forget, I need to plug in. While I'm at it, do I have any more metal splinters? Nope. Okay, good. Need to plug in and power up the soldering iron. And then we need to remove this insulation tape. And apparently this is insulation plastic? I don't know where that came from. Some sort of nylon? Alright. That's all chopped up now. Let's get what we want to keep out of the way. I'll throw the rest away. Probably have some paper under here while I'm doing stuff like this, but did not think of that. It's too late now. Trash can ASMR. Okay, there we go. There's our USB cable that we're working with. Now we just got to strip these lines. So I'm going to take my handed endies. Let's try at 20 or 0.8 millimeter on here on the data lines, and oh, no, too thin. All right, so hopefully 26 is not too small. I'll do a little test run first, just enough to see. Nope, 26 is what we want in this one. All right, so. Oh, hey there, Funk Police. Ripcord, interesting. Evening, Purple Monkey Robots. Pull on it to cut the outer sheathing back. Oh, well. Lesson learned. I'll have to try that next time I see it. This is definitely smaller than 26. So the data is still larger. I mean, data is slightly larger than 26. Might be a 24. All right, let's try these guys. Let's go over to the white line of the data. Oh yeah, it was definitely a 24. In fact, I might want to go further down the green line because I lost some of the fibers there. Wow, that didn't do anything. Let's try it again. Just sort of slid right through. These aren't the greatest. These aren't the greatest of. There we go. That's better. I think I actually had to put this on 26. There we go. Nice bit of line. Is that Garfield eating popcorn? I think we determined these was something like a 20. Yeah? Let's find out. Nope, not a 20. No. Not accurate. Let's try this one. I'm gonna start off at 14 gauge. Nope. And 16. Nope. 18. There we go. Ash is scraping it. 20. Good. Nice bit of line too. No lost fibers. There we go. Alright, now put these tools away. Or just to the side. Just to try this out of the way. It is Garfield. That's cool. I did not know there were Garfield emotes on Twitch. That's great. Kind of makes me happy. Garfield was my favorite cartoon comic in the paper when I was growing up. Didn't know his name was Garfield for a long time, actually. It's called Grettir in the Icelandic newspapers. Alright, so I'm going to work with one of these guys. This one seems like a pain in the butt because the power distribution chip and everything is covered up with this shielding. So we're going to work on this guy. But downside to this one is the data line isn't curled up. These are all individual lines. So there's that. Alright, let's get out the multimeter. We've got a lot of lines to work through. So I'm just going to put this through the hole. And we've got brown. Am I just not hearing it? Nope, nothing. Okay. Blue. Nope. Here's a silver one. Silver one actually feels like it's braided. Nope, it's not the silver one. How about this red one? Nope, not this red one. We've done silver, we've done blue, we've done red. Silver, blue, red. Garfield minus Garfield is great. Oh yeah, I love Garfield minus Garfield. This is kind of like, it is dark, it is sad. Alright, still nothing. Really? Are none of the... Aha! Yellow. Is it the yellow one? Yellow it is. Okay. Alright, so let's get the line out of the way for now. Don't need the line right now. Just gonna set it aside. We'll be needing the line and a hot soldering iron in a few moments. For now, now if you think Garfield without Garfield is weird, there's a whole thing about where Garfield is like an elder thing, and it is kind of terrifying. Alright, I don't need this. Let me see if I can just get this without. Alright. But you can see a little bit better when I do this. Alright, so yellow we determined was the one that we cared about. What could be the opposite that they go from white to red to black and yellow to something? What is that called? Oh, I don't know what it's called. I'm not even sure it's like an ongoing thing. I think it was just something someone drew and stuck up on Tumblr. I'd look up Eldritch Garfield. It's creepy AF. I legitimately creepy. Alright, so that's there. Let's try and find the line that we first want here. Alright, so the opposite no, okay. There is a nice, you can almost see it. There's a dot right there. I think that indicates the one we're looking for. No. No, is it the brown one? That was fast.